CMC, for the people, by the people, and to the people. Citizens movement for change. Oh yes, a new day has come. Yes, a new day has come. Rise up Liberia. CMC, for the people. CMC, by the people. Let us join our hands together to build a better life. CMC, CMC, for the people. CMC, by the people. Let us join our hands together to build a better life. Equity, national unity, transparency, accountability, social justice, integrity, CMC core values. CMC Global. It is a new day for Liberia. It is a new day for the people. Let's all together. Let's all together. It's a unity. Raise up your hands. CMC. The land of liberty, the land of freedom, the love of liberty brought us together. Let's hold together in peace and unity to build a better Liberia. CMC, CMC, for the people. CMC, yes, by the people. Let's hold together in peace and unity to build a better Liberia. CMC, CMC, yes, for the people. CMC, yes, by the people. Let's hold together in peace and unity to build a better Liberia. CMC, yes, 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 the time has come.
Oh, I was just saying hi, everybody. I hope that everyone is doing well. I appreciate the fact that you are able to stay up this late. It's probably 11:30 in Liberia, and maybe in other parts of the world it's late, but it's 6:30 in Eastern United States. And I want to just tell you thank you for joining us. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight. Um, we're going to be having a spirited discussions on different issues in Liberia. You know, our country is full of news and information and things that are going on. But I don't know how was your day, but mine was pretty hectic today. Um, I'm going back to the university after such a nice, interesting family break, holiday break. It was I spent a lot of time with my family, and so today we actually went back. This is what usually happens. I've been, uh, working for more than 20 years at the university, and the week before we go back to teach in class, and it's something that I'm sure is in the works or either being practiced at universities in our country or colleges in our country. Um, we all of the faculty members, meaning those who are going to be teaching the future generation of this country that we find ourselves in, um, we get to discuss issues, trending issues. And today we spend most of the time speaking about implementing artificial intelligence and critical thinking in the classroom setting. Uh, we had a panel of leaders discussions, a panel of leaders in different industries. They were in higher up, maybe they were the CEOs or maybe They were, nurse administrators, or maybe perhaps they had a doctorate degree in nursing. There were a psychologist who is in charge of running an institution. And there was also, um, I believe, I'm trying to just remember, there was someone into health uh, psychology or health issues. So there was maybe a panel of 6 persons, and one of the questions that they had to come up with was to tell us some of the things that they look for in hiring graduates of universities, like recent graduates of university. How is it? What do they look for? How do they check out critical thinking skills? Um, are they in favor of the use of AI? My personal opinion about AI, in which I share today, um, was that AI is here to stay. So we went through, maybe I want to say we got there about 8:30 today, and there were light breakfasts for faculty members, and then we started promptly at 8:45, and we ran all the way until maybe 10:30. And from 10:30 to 11:30 was an opportunity for faculty to ask questions. And then we then broke up into small groups. All of the people from the psychology department went into their own group. If you were into business and other things, you went to your own group. If you're into teaching English and all of those different uh, type of classes, you went into your own group. So in the smaller groups, we talked about what surprised us in terms of the um, presenters. And for me, I was surprised that the presenters spoke about including emotional intelligence, what we call uh, uh, there's the EIQ, your emotional intelligence, or EQ, your emotional intelligence, uh, and including problem solving skills. Those are the things that I look for, critical thinking in recent graduates. So that surprised me. Um, uh, Kind of what I hope they had talked about more. That was another question. I wonder, and I wanted them to speak about the way how we're going to integrate diversity into using AI. Um, I find that garbage in is garbage out. Uh, AI, depending on who's putting the AI information together, um, they might not, or they may or might not consider diversity. Um, and I wonder, I think our last question was, what would we like to see differently? Some people talked about, like to see the ethical, like in our business, ethics is very important. For example, people are wondering, some of my colleagues wonder, if you were to use AI to write up things like your treatment plan or some of your administrative work, such as doing notes for the client or for the person that you're going to see, what happens to your notes? Is that kept in privacy? Because we have a strong ethical requirement regarding privacy. So all of those things were discussed today. And then I came home. I had to do two brief psychological reports. Have different communication with case manager, and then of course I went on another platform. I usually visit that platform, but you probably know Spoon platform. Sinner is aware that I'm home, so I think he sometimes like to abuse the fact that I'm home, and sometimes we have discussions about what's coming in the show, and my thoughts about it and stuff like that. Um, and then of course I knew that I had a show today. I'm expecting other panelists to join me. I see Ansu and Henry. They are in the back. Um, yeah. Okay. I see. Maybe they're not ready yet, but I'm sure Ansu will be joining us very shortly to maybe give us some of the happenings and require my reaction or seek my reaction. Let me just say seek my reaction to some of the happenings in the country. Um, there's a lot of things going on in the country right now. So, Ansu, how are you?
Thank you. Wonderful. Thanks so much, Dad. Let me see. How's up? Is it afternoon? Should I say good afternoon?
It's,
Good evening to him.
I think it's evening. It's evening time over here. It's 6:40. It's it's dark because of course you know that uh, we had a spring forward type thing where
Hmm.
no, we had a fallback. It's not time for spring forward yet. We had a fallback where the times were changed, but it's dark. If you're here, you would probably think it's 12 o'clock at night already, but it's just 6:40, so it's evening time. How are you doing?
I'm great. Wonderful again. And good to be uh, tonight. And yesterday edition, we were just sitting at the back and monitoring Mr. Gayman and Mr. Nangwe. So they were here, and it was a great experience last night on the show. So, well, thank you again. We are here tonight. I'm good.
Actually, I'm gonna hold you there. Let's talk about that a little bit, because I you're right. It was a wonderful experience hearing Mr. Nangwe and Mr. Gilman, who are CNCmers. They are in Liberia right now, and to hear their experience, their observation, and thoughts about how they view Liberia. I think it was great for viewers and for people who are listening to hear it. Uh, we dive into the politics of that day yesterday. A lot of people were talking about the man who sodomized a young boy. Okay, they were talking about him, the NSA uh, assistant director. He sodomized. I don't even want to call his name. I don't want to popularize him. Um, but he sodomized a young boy, according to the court system. And so we talked about that a lot. So, what was your takeaway from them, Ansu? You had them at your disposal. They were in the studio. You listened to what this said about Liberia. What 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 was your takeaway from them?
Yes. So, what happened here is that uh, I gradually tried to understand that they were getting to know some of the things that when we seen it on the radio, like you on that side, and when we say a good sometime, when you are on the ground, you know exactly what the people talking about. It thinks about the system, how the system run here, how the system is set up here. So it was good. Yesterday they came here and they followed the entire activities from the code, did accept they saw our justice system, and they saw how things run sometime back here. So when we are sitting on the radio, they get to understand now that what the guys think can be saying when we're online with them. It's reality. It's things are happening because they were here. They noticed yesterday that the assistant NSA boss, where he came from, because we got information he was not at the police station. No, I think he came directly from home, straight to the code. They get to understand how that justice system, how the system run here. They saw him with that type of smile or what on his face, and they do expecting him to be in a type of guilty mood to know that what in his action, first to condemn his action, but they saw him, in that type of laughter mood. So I get to understand that those are some of the things that when we're talking back home here, and there are a lot of things they're going to see. Yeah, that of which is in like today, yesterday the lawmakers resumed. Today the Wahala starts at the Capitol building again, so they're going to understand how people being elected to go and represent their constituent, represent the people at that House of Representative, how our lawmakers organize themselves. They're going to see it again because it was another Wahala and lawmakers being disenchanted. We are into a new year, we're going for another 12 months. What's the hope of Liberian people? Where it lies? Is there any opportunity? Is there any hope of the Liberian people on this current lawmakers? Are they going to see it? So I know Mr. Nangwe and Mr. Gate, they are monitoring, and there are a lot of things, as I said, they're going to experience and see.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you. And it's interesting because sometimes when you've been in and out of the country, which Mr. Gilman and Mr. Namwe have been, uh, in your understanding of how system is run is different as in our country, in our beloved country, Liberia. So I thought it was interesting. I took notes, and of course, I'm going to get a full briefing when they return, because of course, there are some things that were shared and some things that uh, that they would like to speak to the group as a whole. So I just wanted to say that, it's an interesting dilemma, but the whole objective is to move our country forward, to move our country to how others are thinking and others see our country, the functionality of countries in our region versus Liberia. Those are some of the things that that will be looked at. Um, I see the chairman of the youth, CMC Youth, Global Youth is here. I'm going to bring him in. Um, I expect others to join us. How are you doing, Ishmael Fofana? How are you today? You muted.
Yes, I say I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Hi, Henry, and good evening to everyone, our dear listeners, Radio Land, Facebook, YouTube. I say hi to everyone. It's a pleasure to be back here this evening to contribute my thought on the trending issues in Liberia. Thank you. Yes, I'm happy to be here again.
Thank you. We were just talking. I don't know if you followed the show yesterday, but Mr. Gilman and Mr. Namwe, they both were in studio yesterday, and they were giving us their thoughts about Liberia, and of course, Henry Kim Ansu just reiterated some of the things that they said. One of the things that I'm noticing, and I would like to get your thoughts. Actually, there's two things that I'm noticing. I'd like to get your thoughts on those two things. One, sometimes when people rape or sodomize or violate the rights of others, it's more about control and power. In fact, for many people who have studied it's not about, that this person can't go find an age mate to get pleasure from. It's about the ability to control that person, the sense of feeling powerful over that person. Um, and we see that in the case of the assistant to the boss of NSA, we see that, it appears to me that this person may have a lot of power at his place of work or in the society we call Liberia. When people see him, they recognize him. They say, "Oh, that man work at NSL." They have a sense of deference towards him, and so um, he felt like he could do whatever, especially to people who are vulnerable. It is my understanding from the police charges that this young man was raped 3 times. 3 times he was sodomized. Okay, It was somewhere during Thanksgiving, around Thanksgiving, November. It was somewhere around Christmas, and there was somewhere around New Year's. And so he was familiar with this young man. The person, the victim, was familiar with the perpetrator. All right. Apparently, the victim used to go to, and we'll call his name for the sake of the story so you can know, it's Peter Bonjala, who was reportedly, or who is the allegedly accused of sodomizing a young person, 15, 16-year-old male. And reportedly, this 15, 16-year-old male would do little work at his home, sometimes go sweep, clean, and stuff like that. And on couple of days, or the days that he was reported, um, he told the young male that he was going to buy him soccer, equipment, maybe cleats, shoes, or shorts, maybe something that he could play in. And interestingly, he told the young man, I would like for you," and this is all from different accounts that I've read. I want you to go take a shower. Meet me at so and so place, but take a shower first, and I'm gonna go take a shower first, which I thought was very interesting and strange. And the young man, the young man did. Again, let's go back to, as I'm speaking to you, just thinking my power, control. I have someone who's vulnerable, a young man who I have the power to buy him something. I have the money. I have the power to pay him when he does work for me. He works for me. So that is the mentality in our country. That creates a lot of room for vulnerability. Okay, that creates a lot of room for people to take advantage of other people, because we have a culture where there's a lot of have nots and there's a small group of haves, if you get me clearly, Fufana. And so yes, that's one thing I saw. So when we saw a picture of him, uh and some people like to justify that, when he was kind of have this smirk or smiling or laughing, and that was disseminated all over social media. People are wondering why he was laughing, and he wasn't handcuffed. As far as the handcuff, I don't know what the rule says about people who are in court or on the way to court, if they should be handcuffed or if they shouldn't be handcuffed. How do they apply the decision to handcuff someone? Because then people brought in, argue that, okay, Bucky Raw was handcuffed, Thelma Sawyer was handcuffed, and a lot of people who have been through that court system have been handcuffed when they went there. So what is the rule? What is the discrepancy? But from a psychology perspective, we saw this guy smirk, laugh, whatever. I wasn't there to hear him, but I saw this expression in his face that appears like he was laughing. Okay. And usually, when I'm in session with someone and we're talking about a grave matter, an accusation, something that probably would send you to jail for a significant portion of your life, something that made you hurt. Let's forget about the punishment, but you hurt someone, you hurt a 15, 16-year-old boy who perhaps will never ever be the same because he was sodomized by you. Um, he will experience low self-esteem for a good portion of his life. He will experience isolation. He will experience perhaps questioning his sexuality for a very long time. So he's going to have some psychological impairments going on with him. But you did that, you caused that to him, and you're going around with this smirk on your face. So there's an incongruency with your emotions. Okay. And I could see it. If I want to extend that to say, even in session, when I ask you, I see that you taking this for a joke. And what is congruent and to the perpetrator, Mr. Peter Bonjala, is I'm all powerful, I'm almighty, I probably most likely would get away. So this is a joke. I'm gonna smile, and I would just it's just a piece of cake for me. That is the mindset that he has. Now, when we move on to the reality of the problem of the situation is you hurt someone. This is not a laughing matter. This is not a smiling matter. Okay, so that's what I saw. That's what it was trending yesterday, and we did speak at length about it yesterday with Mr. Gilman and Mr. Namwe. They were wondering about the case, about some of the things that I mentioned. So I just want to ask you, and I'm sorry that Ansu left. I don't know where he went, but I'll just ask you, Mr. Fofana, what's your thoughts on what I just said to you uh, about what we talked about yesterday?
Yes, thank you very much for the brief description of what you guys discussed. We did talk about this the first time it happened, and you brought it on the show. We briefly talked about it, but unfortunately, yesterday I didn't follow the show. But just from all what you just said, what you guys was talking about is the reality. It all comes down to power, but I see it in two different form, right? There are some people they use power to control people. Some people abuse power.
Mm-hmm.
So they to connect it with the story. You got in the outside world or anywhere in the world, there are some people they when they are powerful or when they have power, they love to use people that work with them or that is at the same level with them to have that control over them when they have the same sex relationship with you. It's not because that's their sexuality, but it's because they want to take control over you. So some people do that. But for the case of Mr. Peter at NSA, it's
Mm-hmm.
not about controlling, but it's about abuse of power. It
Mm-hmm.
tells me that this man, that's his sexuality, but based on the kind of country he's from, or the continent he's from, or the tradition he's from, we don't embrace that. So he found it difficult to meet people his age, to have that kind of relationship with. So he abuses power to children that have no power, that have no guardians, in that form. So that's how I see Mr. Peter case to be, because how you want to buy someone a football shoe, but they should take back first before coming and receive it. It's funny, but if you kind of think about it, it's very sad. Like, you know, it's something that you plan and you want to make sure the person come clean because you already have your premeditated mind on what you're going to do. So it's very unfortunate. So yes, it all comes down to power, and Mr. Peter abused power, and I think they should investigate more. Probably he has done it to a lot of different children, which is very sad for the country. And talking about the looking at the picture, you know, I think he's trying to do play reverse psychology. That is, being all smart, being very stress free, showing to the people that he's not guilty, but he's just following procedures or due process, and and it's very sad that the immigration officers, or I don't know if the sheriff or what or who they are, and even shaking his hand and making him move like he's in his element of power. And, that was very sad. I think every time when people, when you are charged to take you to court, I think the right procedure is always to put you in handcuff, because that has been the case, and, from time in memory. Because I remember even when before they charged the leg of Robert Selig and other people, they all were in handcuffs. So a lot of people before appearing before the court. Most especially in a case that is very, very, serious like this, the person should be in handcuff. And, it send a message to other people. The whole procedures, how you deal with the case from start to finish, is a message that you're sending. So I think the people in charge should be taking all of those things into consideration.
Yeah, thank you for your explanation, Mr. Fofana. I definitely agree with you. Is sad and disheartening to see this display going on here. At the court setting. I would just want to ask Ansu, do you have anything else that you want to add about what's going on with this? And Henry, thank you in the background. I don't know who's putting the pictures, but I welcome that. So thank you.
You getting me?
Uh, we weren't, but now we are.
Yeah,
Yes, we get
nothing
you
much.
now.
Uh, Nothing much to say. But we went on again. This is another. Uh, this is another troubling issue. With just few months ago, I think that was around August, September, October, November to December, were on this 14 years old female rape case issue. Then into January, we are now on to Peter Ballard. So this Peter Bondo man. So we wait again to see on our justice system. Um, a poor family, a very poor family, now being caught, into the system with the rich, with the elite people. So what's the hope? The very first approach to the case, well, they see the alleged suspect or the suspect who, the Peter Bono man, you can see the smart what that can even encourage the victim family, discourage them totally, dash their hope totally. If they are to push to the justice system, it can even, just kill everything of them for just the first appearance. But as I said, we look up to see to the government. Um, the police IG said something to his press conference. He made it very clear that he said the situation of the kid is very serious. The situation of that kid is very, very serious. So, meaning, our eyes on the code, our eyes on our government seeking justice for that kid. The situation of that kid is very serious. It's not anything for us to play with. It's not anything for people to play with. So we want to see whether that little man will get justice. One person has been caught, two on the run. Who are the two? Nobody knows yet. But I think the Peter Bono man will knows the two.
Definitely. Yes. Thank you for telling us about the state of the victim. It is very serious. It's a serious matter in our country. I think, statistics gather, especially by the United Nations, show that rape is the second highest crime in our country. There are some statistics that show that it's on the rise, especially in Montserrat. I think a couple of weeks ago I spoke about that. Um, you're so right. There were three things that Mr. Peter Bono was charged with. One was gang rape, rape, and kidnapping. Okay, those three things. You're right that they said that uh, there were others involved. Mr. Bon Jala, he was captured. So there's two others that are on the run. And Mr. Nama just answered because I just had this vision, this thought like um, sometimes police can use Sarah tactics and strategies where they're able to get you to talk about the other perpetrators, to give their names. Um, but Mr. Nama sort of, I think he had a great point where he said if Peter Bonjara was to even tell us the names of the other perpetrator, then he will be indicting himself. He will be incriminating himself, which I thought was a great point. So maybe somewhere in the case when it gets really tough, where it is beyond reasonable doubt that he is guilty, maybe he will talk. So we're going to leave that as such. But I also want to say that and you made a great point, Fofana. I just want to add, I think someone can be abusive and controlling at the same time. Yeah, you can be abusive and controlling. So in Mr. Jalas, they said he probably was abusive to this boy and control him. Like he had the power. This man got money. I can go buy you cleats. Go take back. You go take back. Sweep my yard. I will pay you. You know. And interestingly, we heard that one of the abuse took place in his daughter's bedroom on one of the accounts that I read. Um, but just moving along to another topic. If any one of you guys like to add, I just wanted to finally say that CMC. Can you please put that? Yes, thank you. CMC demands immediate reaction or action to this case. As usual, we do put out press statements with the happenings in our country to document our position on these issues. So sometimes people will email me and write me as the global chair and say, why is your political leader talking about this matter? Uh, Liberia is a type of country that you have to let your position known on issues. People will easily forget if you don't speak.
All right.
Okay. And I believe that when you are silent, you are also consenting with the oppressor in many ways. Okay. So the CMC called for a full and timely prosecution of all suspects, regardless of if you NSA assistant director, regardless of if you have money. We are saying that no one is above the law. We also are saying that we want stronger enforcement of laws. Um, there should be urgent action to improve our investigation of forensic and legal matters. And we are also calling for forensic and legal support. Just something on the side here. I I was on another platform and they had the lawyer for Brian, I believe it's Brian McGill, right? The one who was exonerated from raping a young girl. And apparently, uh, the lawyer said her stories did not match, specifically the date in which she said that she was raped was not collaborating or did not seem to connect a link with the cell phone record of the alleged perpetrator in this case, Mr. Bryant. So if she said she was raped today, when they went and checked the cell phone records, he was nowhere in that area. He was nowhere near the job where I believe the rape happened. They also said the CCTV did not put him um, in the vicinity. Something that I know about rape victims, about people who have been traumatized, the recollection of events tend to be, especially initially, tend to be very uh, unclear. Okay, they don't tell you the way of verbalizing what happened, for them to have like detailed explanation sometimes is very difficult. In fact, if you watch most cases in developed countries, they don't let children or minor go to court for that reason, because they know that the stories will be lopsided. And a case in point, um, if you watch the Zimmerman case, the case of Trayvon Martin in Florida, I don't know if you are familiar with that case, but I'm just saying for those of you who are familiar, they had Trayvon Martin girlfriend on the stand, and she was a teenager at the time. I mean, she couldn't speak. Her story didn't add up. So it's to me, it's evidence in another reason why young people, when they traumatized, it was her boyfriend, he was dead, and so they brought her on the stand to testify, knowing all of that, and she couldn't really say much. And so that's one of the ways that Mr. Brian McGill got away, because they said that the CCTV on the date did not correspond to the date that she said she was raped. The phone records did not correspond, and I think they said that the DNA that I learned a couple of days ago that Liberia does not have a DNA machine. We had to send it all the way to Rwanda to get the sample. And so the DNA machine, and the lawyer was saying the science, which was, I think he was emphasizing the DNA test result proved that another man's sperm was on her, not Mr. Brian McGill. What another man's biological specimen was on her. Um, I thought it was just interesting. So I want to hear your thoughts about what I said about the Brian McGill exoneration.
Yeah, that's interesting, Doc. I will just start from where you just ended your conversation. If it's confirmed that another person sperm was found instead of Mr. McGill, can they use that and identify that person? Because at the end of the day, it's not about uh, it's not an attack or to an individual. It's about fighting the crime that is rising in the country, which is rape. So if you can identify the DNA of that person, then that's another big step you can take in a case. No one is saying you should imprison Mr. McGill because he's in the government or this. We are only seeking justice for young victims. So if you can identify an individual to an DNA, then you should do that. Make the person appear in court, identify the person, find the person. Don't just exonerate the other man and then the case die. At the end of the day, she was raped. So that's the addition I can add to it. But all the other one is the usual thing, the same thing we're saying will come back with Mr. Peter, and we'll start repeating the same stuff. So we just have to, the government just have to, or the judge, the judiciary just have to make sure that you know solving a case on behalf of somebody it should not be the end. If you identify another person, bring that person. The end goal should be uh the victim having justice, and that they deserve. It's not about exonerating the first accuser. So if it's confirmed that the person was victimized, even if there is a mistake in the procedures or the identifier, then whomever is identified, let the person be charged in court. So that way we are fighting a corrupt system. But if we just say, all right, you bring this person complaint, but we didn't identify the person, then you're not fighting nothing. You're just exonerating people that you think should be protected, but because of certain reason. So that's
Yes.
what I can add to that.
Thank you, thank you. And I also asked. So I had asked so far he's going to come here and talk to us as well, because I hate sort of reiterating what he said. So I asked him, are you going to press charges? Is Mr. Brian McGill, because um, if if one's character is defamed because someone lied on you, um if you saying that it was you are maliciously treated by way of prosecution, um there was false report filed against you because the police report was false, um you lost work, uh wouldn't you then file? I mean, and you had to pay a lawyer legal fees. Wouldn't you counter suit? To prove your point, to prove it wasn't just about exonerating you; it's to prove your stance in society is to prove all of these things. And the lawyer told me, the lawyer for Mr. Brian McGill told me that because she was a minor, they at this point his client was not thinking about that. His client was just happy to be free, and he was not thinking about uh, bringing a, a counter suit. Um, for me, I understand she's a minor, but then what lesson do we take away from this? That you can just go on if you claim that this person falsely accused you, you can that minor in our country should not be allowed to do that. Nobody, for that matter, should be allowed to falsely or defame another person's character. Allow this person to go through a legal court process, have legal fee, ruin their reputation in the country. I mean, because it was a long drawn out case, uh, cause to rest for them. So I think then a message should be sent to the young woman as well, or anybody for that matter. So I was just wondering, what are your thoughts? And maybe when the answer comes back, he can also share with us to what he thinks.
Yes, that, like, I think we, like you said, if your character have been damaged, you have lost your job, this, and there is a moral obligation that you defend your character and restore, the respect, and dignity that you lost. So what the best way to do that is to counter sue for character assassination, defamation of character, that way to set the record straight. If you can't do that and say because you think the person is a minor, it's because of the person being minor. That's the reason for which you are also in court, because you were accused of, you know raping a minor. So that's the best thing you should do. Like, that's the thing that I was saying. Exonerating people, or denying fresh motion in cases like that is not the end of it. It should never be the end of it, but it should be the beginning of another investigation, because you want to make sure that you end the case in totality. So if we start to do that, people start to trust the justice system, then we start to fight the real issue about rape. But when it's always going to be this pick and choose type of, you know judgment, then we are not fighting nothing, and the country continuously experience this kind of activity, and our young people, the future leaders of the country, will always be victimized by those heartless people. So he should either counter sue them to show that yes, what is coming from the court, we should buy it, and the court should also be able to identify the person that was identified from the DNA, and forward them to court to let's see, so people cannot be in doubt that something played behind the scene. So all of those things have to happen.
Yes, I believe you. Thank you. Ansu, your thoughts? Yeah, I think you heard what I said. Any thoughts? We're having difficulty hearing you.
On the issue of Mr. McGee,
Mm-hmm.
well, like I said on one of our show, yeah, I think one of the afternoon or morning show, I said it took a time for someone to build their character, their reputation, to build that foundation. It took a whole time to do that. So when they are, when such allegation and what comes up, uh, is something in which we need investigation that goes on. And for us that sit behind the microphone, that is not our era. The police there, they are professional people. They went through the investigation. They went through the entire process from August to the time the final report came out. So it never for Mr. McGay and I follow. his press conference. So you know, the which he hailed the police for being very, very professional in the work. And also, he still stand in terms of supporting the acts of violence against, women, against young guys. So that's just it. That I said already. I said it take a time for someone to build to build a life. He lost your job. At the same time, your character, your reputation is at stake. Is a dark image, being attached to you. How can you erase it? So you can at least, so you can move on with that, with all that stigma. It's not an easy thing, but let's wait and see whether he will, maybe whether there will be follow actions, maybe for the family of Mr. McGill, or whether he's just going to let it go. But that's it. The report from police is already out saying that he's clear. Report is out saying he's free. So we're only to see the next step.
Definitely, definitely. So, again, I my hope is that our assessment in these situations will be so inclusive, like
Hmm.
inclusive of different experiences of people. He and rightfully or wrongfully so, he was exonerated because I'm told that her detailed information is not linking up to the cell phone records,
Yeah.
cell phone tower, and the CCTV. Okay, that's what I'm told. Um, but in other parts of the world, they do different types of assessment, like the mental health assessment. I'm talking about the trauma, how this person was impacted. Uh, they understand different body fluids, the effect of taking the body fluid from Liberia to Rwanda, who took it, what methodology they used. So there's a lot of questions that go into a lawsuit as such. And as Fofana said, yeah, maybe he's a free man, but is this objective? Is Do we just want to have a free man, or do we want to discuss and curtail rape in our culture? Do we want to then maybe go after, eventually maintain the DNA of the person they found and make it may be a cold case for now, but a cold but working case. That's what happens here. If they take if they take governments, not this government, but if it take years to resolve this issue in other parts of the world, they do that. Okay, it takes sometimes many many years to find rapists because they know that it's a danger to society. Have someone at large raping people, it's a danger to society. So, we'll let it be as is. And
And that I'm not cutting you off. You know that? Do you know that it's too sad? It is too sad that all these terrible things happening, and the security system is not well equipped when it comes to getting the various, should I say, equipment or what to news, to come up with fun investigation. The health sector is not ready to strong. All these areas, in terms of the sodomite people, carry on rapes, because we will have the materials, equipment, and police headquarters to carry on a terrorist investigation. At the same time, to the health sector to to come out to come with the final in terms of health reports, what really happened to that person, to have the machines, all the bad things happening, and we are not well equipped. So it would just be about just part of reading. People just read printed to us, and we will not understand. And at the end of it, some will just walk free. Whether they are cut off, we will not even know, because we are not fully prepared and equipped to carry on such an investigation. Like the issue of Brian, the issue of this Bob, Peter Bondo man, all these things, and we need thorough investigation where we can even have the equipment on hand.
yes, I agree with you. I mean, to my surprise, that our country, our beloved country, Liberia, uh, she does not have a DNA machine that we have to send important DNA uh, specimens outside of the country. This is not even my first time engaging in this. I think you guys remember there was a young girl a couple of years ago who she went out. I think it was one of those studying nights where they have marathon, and she went to the club and she came home, but she fell. Um, I remember her mother's name is Cynthia Sherman. I was involved in in that case. We sent a pathologist from the United States to Liberia to help us with the case, to bring some closure to the case. And I have the pathologist report on my phone, but one of the things that he said was they don't have any machines. They have to send specimen. He actually left the containers to gather specimens to be able to send to developed countries like this country. That was never done. Okay. So um, we don't have a DNA machine in the country. We have to send the more of the story that we have to send our specimens outside of the country. Now, that is not a good thing. That's one thing. Number two, we can have yellow machines. People brag about yellow machines coming to the country, and we can't even brag about having a DNA machine to help support investigations, such as the one that we're talking about in our country is concerning. Number three, our leaders of our country. I have not heard the president. This relates to human issue. Okay, I have not heard the president develop a strategy, okay, or a concept on how are we going to address this type of violence in society towards young men and women. I was also involved in training. This is not a today's business. I was involved in uh, doing a lecture on sexual and gender-based violence for 2 weeks. Okay, um, the Cummings Foundation sent for me, and I was in Liberia for 2 weeks doing a training on sexual and gender based violence. And I have a clip a friend just sent me and reminded me where uh, one of the panelists on the clip is talking about how we have to worry about our young boys and not only our young girls. And so it brings to mind for me that considering this is a long-standing issue in our country, why are our leaders, especially our president, President Joseph Boakai government, not addressing this, not talking about his lack of tolerance for rape or sodomization of young boys? And that baffled me. We can have a whole press conference on 6 point something million dollar a conference center that is being built in Foya, and still don't get we and still I don't even have no head no tail on who is paying for that press conference. And so all of these things in our country is baffling me. And I will stop there and hear your thoughts, both of you, on this, starting with you, Mr. Fofana.
Yes, like you said, it's very sad that this kind of issue of national concern that you will have the president or government officials not talking about it, because even if you're not going to talk about the accuser, but being able to just comment on the issue and condemn it, whether someone is being charged or not, but just being able to condemn it, that's a sense of morality. Is good for the for fighting and rape. And I wanted to comment because you was talking about we're talking about the case, whether it's true that he's been Mr. what the guy name that raped the girl,
Brian McGill.
Brian McGill. He's been exonerated, but then, like we said, the case doesn't stop there. When we look at the morality, because I want to go the morality right. If you look at almost, I think there is over 2 million people in Montserrat, Monrovia, right? I stand to be corrected. And out of those figure, that this girl was able to point at your one. On what basis will she accuse you out of everybody? On what basis will we accuse you? Let's agree the communication time she talk it doesn't match. So it means that she has communicated with you in the past, even though the complaint she sent doesn't match the time she communicated with you. So I'm not trying to be judgmental on him, even though the court said he has been exonerated. But I'm just trying to speak to the morality of the case. That should even encourage Mr. McGill to counter sue to set the record straight if only what the court is saying is the right thing. You know. So I mean the case has been he has been exonerated. The case is going to die, and the president is not going to speak on it, and that's going to be the end of the case. There is not him. There's so it has always been a case that we'll just be saying the same thing over and over, because what should be the next action point. It's simple and everyone knows it, but if you are trying to protect someone, you will always stop halfway. So that's been a sad reality in the country.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts, Ansu? And then we're going to move on to something that happened in our country today. You mentioned that as well.
No, man. We can keep
Oh,
rolling. We can continue that. Not much.
okay. Yes. Thank you. Before we move on, I also just want to welcome our viewers, our listeners. We want to just thank you again for always committing yourself to being a part of our discussions here. I just want to say thank you to Lasso Kroman. Lasso, thank you for all that you do for CMC. You and I are friends on social media, and I see you're posting regularly, and it keeps me informed as to what is going on with our PL. I also want to say Samuel Kine, he's in Liberia, say he's watching from around Liberia. Clita Meda Gualimata, thank you. Also, this person says that they're watching from Chickatown residents tonight. Mr. Prosper is also watching from Tutmanburg, Bombing County. Say Benyi Ike is watching from Second Pierre, Nima County. He's watching on Truth FM. He said that the show is being relayed. So it's good to hear. Thank you for telling us that. I'm happy to hear that the show is being relayed in Nima County. That is one of our goals that we are working on here with the show. Um, I see Mohammed Salah. Good evening as well. Lai M. Kroma, he says it's very sad to see wicked men laughing. I believe that's when we're talking and showing the picture of of Mr. Bonchala. I see that Roland G. Tier, who is a very committed member of CMC, he says, I'm watching from Kakata City, Magibi County. My name is Jay Roland Tier. He's chairman of the CMC in Magibi County. Thank you for all that you do, Roland. Um, Mohammed Yahaya Sharif, he says, let action be taken. MK Kennan says CMC strong. Uh, Makai Connet says CMC all the way. Fode Boya says watching from Philadelphia. So I want to thank all of you that are watching us, our viewers, people who are going to share the show later, people who are going to join the show later. I want to tell you thank you. Your panelist here today is Ishmael Fofana. Ishmael is the chairperson of the Global Youth. And also we have a group in that falls under him. They're what we call the next generation, CMC Youth Next Gen. Um, there are a lot of youth in this country who were raised in an African home, but they were born here. They have a lot of interest in Africa. And so we, after hanging heads and talking and brainstorming, and listening to some of those young people who share the vision of CMC and wanting a better Liberia, somewhere where they can call a home in Africa, and also for the the betterment for of their parents or their family member. You know, when I listen to my children, a lot of times they say, Mama, I know we have to take you back to Liberia." So they always think about ways that Liberia has to be better for their mama to be better. So yeah, so that's who's here with us. We also have Ansu, who's in studio with us. Henry in the background, he's doing some of the technical work. Ansu is here also reporting some of the matters in Liberia. So I want to just thank you guys for serving as panelists tonight, and also thank all of you that are listening to us. So Ansu, something interesting happened in our country today. I saw a tape of the opening ceremony, and I specifically want to mention there was a discussion about the yay and nay votes, okay, in the House of Representatives. Um, Representative Wema Bridge of Bond County was arguing that we shouldn't have a yay and nay vote. In short, in brief, this is what I gather. I wanted to know, what were you guys thinking? What are your thoughts about it? Ishmael Fofana, Mr. Fofana, and Ansu, I also want to know your thoughts about it. And then I will share what I think about it.
Yeah. So I did watch the video. From what I gather, I think her point was, for every time the speaker put something on the floor to be discussed, uh, he if it's something that he really wants, for it to pass, he don't put it up for debate. He just want yay or nay. So I
Okay.
think something she was against. She said you can't just put something on the floor and then ask for vote. We have to debate it, share our view on it, and I think that was brilliant. That was brilliant. That was an example, because we have the legislator, not just to go and agree. If you all keep agreeing without discussion, then you are not heading anywhere. The purpose of that, that plenty numbers of representative is to share different ideas, connect those ideas for the betterment of the country. So everything that will be put on the floor, it should be discussed, it should be debated, and better outcomes should come from the discussion. That's what makes a very brilliant legislator for the country. So I think she was arguing against that, and I really applaud her for that. But then I was a little disappointed at the end of the video, because she, after all that, standing her ground and trying to make sure the right thing be done, then she said, "All right, I will just leave it for today. If it happen again, and I will not do it." I think that is another problem. We can't keep identifying problem, and talk about it, and then give up and say, all right, I will leave it for the sake of this. That's all we've been doing in the country. Like right now, we're just talking about importing abuse cases. People would discuss it. They will say, all right, for the sake of the country to move forward, they just, we can't keep doing that if we serious about the betterment and the development of the country. So I applaud her, but I was also disappointed that, because you stood your ground, you are raising a brilliant point, and a real way that the legislature should run, not on a basic of yes, 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 yes. Issues should be discussed, and that's why that's why it hurt me when we elect people that don't understand what they are elected for, but they just go there to get the salary, the benefit, and they just say yeah, 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 or nay, 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 even though they don't understand it. So a point was, let it be discussed, because through discussion, ideas comes out. We can connect those ideas, and for the betterment of the country. Like we said, one head is better than two heads. So your
Mhm.
one can get something and just can't tell everybody to vote for it without adding their own point to it. So that's what I can say about that.
Thank you. That was well said, and thank you for elaborating on the video. I briefly saw it in my busy schedule. So your elaboration and your explanation was quite great. I'm just going to, and just so for my understanding, uh, the speaker tends to put issue on the floor in a way that he does not ask for debate, but he asks for a yay and nay vote. And that's what she was speaking against. And I saw it with a lot of passion and a lot of action. And of course, I didn't see it to the end, in which that's why I didn't discuss it. I thank you for that addition. At the end, she then added, well, I would just do it for today or something like that. Which you are saying no, we should keep pressing on, you know. That's the only way that things are going to get better. So, but absolutely, before I share my thoughts about it, I was just wondering, what do you think? What are you thinking?
I think
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Mhm.
Well, I followed that video today, and it also drew my attention to a lot of things maybe been happening to the house. And the Bum County lawmaker to also currently uh, uh, sit on the ECOWAS uh, parliamentarian where she representing Liberia. So she have some vast experience, and her pressing issue in the entire discussion was about some major bills, some major bills that comes onto that floor, honorable speaker and deputy speaker. So what's draws my attention that is for fun also, if she says some major bills, meaning that there are things that have been happening for the past. There are things that have been happening for the past. I think let us try to correct it now. We shouldn't, let's stop it. We should not continue with this style here. Major bills come here. I strongly believe that when it comes on the floor for us to vote upon it, let's do the haircuts. And she even went far as saying that's the standard at ECOWAS Parliament and other house. Says where lawmakers are when major bills hit the floors. So I strongly believe that she was trying to bring on the deputy speaker and the speaker attention that things that have been happening in the past, Richard Kuhn and Farah, that we are way, that yama yama way, what's we're thinking about, we can let it go through. Let's try to correct it this time. And you should know that the lawmaker, she was part of she was part of the Kun supporter during our Wahala at the Capitol building. She was supporting Richard Kun. So if she can come up this time around and being very, very strong in her talking, so many, there are some things I strongly believe that she want to correct. There are some things that need to be corrected there, and she called it on the deputy speaker and the speaker that these things should be corrected, especially when major bills come on the floor. Please, let's do here comes that.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you guys, both of you, for your wonderful and informative addition to this discussion that we're having here. So, basically, my thought about this is, and hi, welcome, Mr. Toby. Is great to have you. We're just discussing about uh, Representative Mona Brick's uh, comments in session today, and we're discussing primarily about her argument against the yea or nay votes. But I'm sure you're going to have your thoughts about it. I was just adding my thoughts about it, and I'm going to ask you then, what were your thoughts? I'm sure you saw the video. So number one, I want to side with her thoughts, her argument. I want to side with it. Okay, I think it's a good thing for us to have transparent votes. When you do yay or nay, you don't take an inventory or who agree or who disagree or who abstain. You just have a blank, everybody agree, majority agree, and the vote went. we have to move to the place in our country where we are open and more transparent because of the history of Liberia. I don't think we can afford in our country, to have yay and nay votes. We have a history where people even have described corruption as a cancer in our society. And one way, okay, that we can combat corruption is to be transparent. We want to know how and who voted for what. And once the people know that, then they can get educated to see who's voting in their interest or who's voting for their pockets, okay? Or who's voting as a cartel of people. So I think accountability also goes to that. We can hold people accountable by learning. Are we going to wisely not vote for them because we know they are not in our interest? They are not in the interest of making sure that we have good education for the next generation or for our children. They are not in the interest of making sure there's good hospitals or there's farm to market roads. They are not in our interest as the CMC likes, they are not in the interest of developing the country. And on the side, it was a pleasure to hear Mr. Nangwe and Mr. Gimen talk about people referring them to the development people. So, okay, so that's what, when you have this nay or yay vote, you will then be able to see who's in your interest. To me, it's going to increase public trust. Okay, it's something that I want to do in the country. I want to increase public trust. And I side with you, Fofana, for her saying, I'm going to leave it for today. We have this saying in our country, Jelly go. It's a common saying. If we all just leave it to God, as we were just talking about the previous case, just because one man is exonerated, they know they found other somebody specimen who was responsible for the rape, but we just leaving it to God because this one person was exonerated. So if we just leave it to God, we are going to slowly develop our country. We are just saying that our country will not even develop because we'll just be stagnant. We're just going to stay one place. Okay. And I heard her in the opera say, for that reason, you can take your committee away from me. That was eye open. You guys heard that. What she said for that, take your committee away from me. Like you referenced that Ansu, Ansu, that she is on the ECOWAS committee. And some are saying that the reason why she's on that committee, it was a bargaining chip for the current speaker to keep her on that committee. So if you vote for me, I will keep you on that committee. So she, to me, what I heard her say, for that reason, you can take me off your committee. And when I heard that, I started to think further. It gave me a lot of pause and a lot of reason to think. So, are you being threatened that if you speak or if you don't say the right thing, then you won't be on any committee? If that is the case and that is what is happening in our House of Representatives, it saddens me. Okay, we all Liberians should be concerned about the yea or nay votes and about her comment about, for that reason, take me from on your committee. Mr. Maxwell, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us again, and your thoughts on this whole yea and nay votes. And we are already talking about this whole situation with Bon Jara, but if you want to add to it as well, you can do that.
Okay, thank you, Dad, and good to see all of you tonight on the show. It'll be a very hectic run around day for us today with the political leader. But again, we are happy to be here and to start from where we met the rest of the team members in the discussion. The situation raised with Honorable Member Briggs Mensa today is just in furtherance of what Honorable Musa Hassan Bediti have said, times without numbers. And again, Honorable Mensa is not a strange person around the national legislature. She's been there um, 2 times now. This is her second term, uh, representing the people of Bond County at the national legislature. It is not fair for her to reference her involvement with ECOWAS Parliament, or we go to other Parliament and we are learning these things that she taught on objecting to today has been the normal routine at the national legislature. And one man who's been standing and thinking that it is wrong for people to not be, accounted for in the way they are responding to key documents at the national legislature is vulnerability. Because at the point when there is a key document that is being voted upon or yea and nay upon, it is difficult to know who's voted for it and who did not vote for it. There's no accountability. I think the folks at the Liberian Senate have started documenting the way they are voting on key legislation. So there's nothing wrong about people in the House of Representatives to do the same. Yea and nay doesn't account, it doesn't speak out to the number of people, that actually vote, because there is no document that reference the individuals who saying nay and who saying yea. It is just something that will always happen and is done in a very hasty manner. And speakers upon speakers have capitalized on that process of passing major document or major legislation, while others will be rejecting. But it is not possible to reference those speak against the document. So I think Romenza has just joined like-minded individual, like Honorable Musa Hassan Belite, who have always said the way we are proceeding here in this national legislature is not the right way. And if our lawmakers, begin to stand up and not to be subjected to a committee member, or you've been placed on a committee, means that you should be silent, and your stand as a head of committee should take you off, your stand on national issue. Because if you voice out your disagreement, like you said today, if you take your committee, I will not die, and, I will stay live. It means that the deputy speaker, because she referenced Fala, she said, and you say you've been setting for me. And if you listen to that tip very well, you will hear her say that. But again, it is just an eye opener that there are a lot of things going wrong at the national legislature. And some people at this stage want to correct it, whether it is late, but in our liberal parlance, we say it is better late than never. We are hoping that the leaders at the House of Representatives, because the Liberian Senate does their voting now in a different style. They are voting on account, they are voting on record. They are not introducing the yea and nay vote like it is done at the level of the House of Representatives. I stand to be corrected on that. But Honorable Mensa outburst today, even at the point where she was being threatened to be thrown out of section, you saw other female lawmakers, walking in her defense and saying people disagreement should not lead to them being thrown out of section. But we see that happen several times with the men. And if that situation was a situation raised by a male lawmaker today, I'm sure it was going to end up, with the sergeant of arm being told to escort the person out of the chamber. But a female stood up today and she raised the issue. Her fellow female, joined her, and she stood her ground, even though at the tail end of that, she thought to give in. But the the courage to even start to say we are not doing these things the right way means that they are willing now to checkmate the work they do. They are willing to see how the Liberian people can rely on them. There have been several legislation passed, and it's difficult to hear lawmakers say, this is what I voted for, because it's always yay or nay. When they say that, it's difficult to even know who's saying yay, who's saying nay. It's just on the floor, and the speaker will take advantage of that. And you see those documents pass. Sometimes they say it's passed in a 4G or 5G, and it's on its way to the Liberian Senate. And the CMC thinks that if all of the lawmakers begin to look in the positive direction of the country, things will definitely get better. And it is no time to allow them continue to vote the way they've been voting in the past, because that have never helped. We see a lot of wrong document. So you see them, they find another space. If you interview a lawmaker today on certain document, you say, I did not vote for it. And there's no record that show whether the person voted or they did not vote, because the yay and nay vote doesn't account in specific whether John is voting or Paul is voting or Paul did not vote or Paul voted. So it's difficult to hold them accountable. Now, what I said, the majority will always, have the way, while the minority have the say. And that has been a normal routine of our lawmakers. And it's time to checkmate that. We let to encourage her to not back off. She should join people who are thinking the same way. She started thinking. She's been there. She's she's not doing, but I'm sure she's been there for some good years now, 2 terms at the level of the House of Representatives. So she may have understood a lot more on the workings of that body. And we expect her to take that courage into the coming sitting, because they officially open now. They will be awaiting the president to address that body on Monday, where he will deliver his annual message. And I hope moving forward on some of these key points, we can see a new trend of voting and not the usual yay or nay vote that have confused the Liberian population and doesn't account as to who's voting against properly and who's voting for in terms of record and documentation. So I think it's a good start. We don't want to discourage lawmakers. We want them to join the fight and make sure that the speaker and his deputy will not just be bringing any document and just call few of the friends who are in favor of it, discuss it beyond the scene. And at the end of the day, once it is put out there, you just hear yay or nay in a loud tone of voices coming out from across the floor, and then that document is given acquiescence and is being approved. And all you see now is on its way to the Liberian Senate. That has suffered the Liberian people. They've passed bogus into agreement that seem to be difficult for them to account for. They've made bad decisions for the country because they are the direct representatives of the people in the counties, in the districts. And of course, if they realize it, we hope that they can all stand up, in this current sitting. It is not late to adjust. It is not late to bring what you've learned from other parliamentarians around the world to infuse that in your working. But Honorable Member Briggs Mensa stood today. She voiced out. She's one of the outspoken female legislator. She's been quiet. I know it was all because of the impasse that she said she wasn't supporting the former speaker, and then she did not show her support physically for the current speaker, but it is a good start. It is a good beginning for the coming sitting. And it is not wrong to start at this point. That can lead to the next, years ahead of us, and we can correct a lot of bad things that have happened at the level of the House of Representatives. So I will want to stop at this point, and on that specific issue, briefly, you already talked about the situation with the Liberian National Police, their report, and the arrest and um, release of two different reports on almost one similar situation. Now that Liberians are concerned as to the yardstick used to exonerate on the Honorable Brian McGill, and why yardstick now is being used to send to court the Jala situation. I saw a write out today from Honorable Tewonse Gonglo, um, who's been in our jurisprudence for a very long time, asking the Liberia National Police head Honorable Gregory Kuma to make public all of what he said were being used as evidence to exonerate Honorable Brian McGill, which of course many Liberians are thinking that the law should not be in favor of other people and should not hold other people accountable. People are being accused in this country of rape just on allegation, and they've been placed behind bar while they are undergoing investigation. None of it happened in the case of Honorable Brian McGill. He was being invited to the police. He went in, according to them, several times for questioning, and he was home while the investigation was ongoing. Today, another official of government is being accused of sodomy. I'm told that he was held in police custody, not to his knowing his the proper procedure. So again, the lawyers have gone in there, and so the police held him for some time. And so it's a whole mix up of how the police have gone ahead with the investigation. And that has now confused the Liberian people a lot more. And people are now questioning the judgment of the police, in these cases that are very concerning to the Liberian people, because our law doesn't speak, the way it does about people being investigated, and the way the police has now started such a very serious investigation relating to those crimes that are very hard on our book. So it's a serious concern. We know the police and the civil society advocates will now go back and forth with that, but we are all concerned to know, how did McGill exoneration come about? How did the DNA, who did the DNA, where were it taken? So now the rapist of the 14-year-old girl is alleged, according to the police. They want to use, that situation now to find the actual perpetrator, of an alleged rape. How many persons has been thoroughly, investigated with all of the laid down procedure? The police said the news in the Mangails, or in the Brian Mangails case, DNA and cameras, call log, all the technical details, that will be outlined by the Liberian National Police. Those are very serious questions, and we cannot be running our country on a friendship or society thing, because we are in the same court, and so we make decisions in favor of our friends. It is affecting our country. It is hurting our country. Some of the big guys, they are in their own, court. I want to put it that way. This society thing here that is in our country, where you can lay your brother down, kind of thing. should not be brought on the national stage when Liberians' eyes are on a particular subject matter. The situation of Brian McGill, the Liberian National Police, the way they proceeded, the way they came out. Now we want to see what are the yardstick down they are using to indict the NSA suspended or dismissed special assistant. So it's a serious concern. I just thought that I should add my voice to the voices of Liberians who will be speaking against this, and also setting the stage that we need to do things in the right manner so that people out there who follow our country will not be confused along the way. So I want to stop here, that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for adding your voice, Mr. Toby, to the issue of Miss Representative, actually, Moima Briggs of Bunk County. You spoke about her in a very, very appreciative way. I also, before we move on to you telling us about information regarding CMC, move on to like what I consider to be the CMC news segment. I just want to say to our viewers, Mr. Forte Bayo, I didn't mention you watching from Philly. Thank you. And our USA chairperson, Victoria Sendulu Zulu, who's also here tonight. I know she was on CMC Business earlier, so she couldn't be here with us, but she's watching. I just wanted to close this segment with showing Madam Brick's video. That's what I was doing in the back when I left you guys briefly. I want to show her video, and I also want you guys to then think about ways how we're going to move on. About ways that we're going to move on to CMC news section. So, Mr. Smith, be thinking about that. I'm coming to you next. I want our viewers to see this.
Not because you just you can control the floor and do that. But you can do this and embarrassing us. How can you have everyone portion and you got all of them portion and it's not dependent you say yeah and nay. It's like you just need to do the right thing. I will not go nowhere because I'm not talking the wrong thing. That will drag me all of here today. I will not get into California, I'll pick you. No, I will talk the thing that is right. That is why when you go, the right thing must be done. The right thing, no, you can't remember. You will follow the thing, the wrong thing will not be done. You will not tolerate it. I will do that when you go and then we can. I don't go to international parliament to come and say the CIB. There's no one who come and open the mouth to me. What punish me? Stay a committee there. When you say plenty for me, I will not die. Take care, you fella. You gotta leave one in the place. You can tell all your committee, I will stay late. I'm foolish way you do it. I will pass for there, let me be on the local government. Last time I will be cool. I will listen now. I'll guess I'm my question and opinion. You want to ask for one? Come. Say the more when I talk like this, call them to your place. Please sleep there. Because we say there, how things don't happen. We don't want to support you. But your friend.
Wow, wow, wow. That's all I can say for now. We can come back to review this clip because there's so many things that I took away from it that I didn't even talk about before. But all I can say is wow, wow, wow. It's good that the world is watching. Okay. As much as the world is full of uncertainties right now, but the world is watching. So we're gonna go over to you, Mr. Smith Toby. Today there were several things that went on in our country today, specifically relating to the political leader of CMC. I'm going to begin by you just telling us what I wish I was there, but what occurred, what happened?
Well, I think he started his day from the level of the national legislature. I think you've been seeing the video on the social media, joining his colleagues at the working section. Now they've resumed to do the people's job. And so as part of his district's representation is an obligation for him to be at work, even though as a political leader of the Citizens Movement for Change, but as a district representative, he had to be at the House of Representatives today in that capacity as Representative Musa Hassan Belite. And his introduction today with the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, and other colleagues again speaks volume about the way he's managed to conduct the activities of his district, the activities of the Liberian people. So I think is a normal show of leadership coming from honorability, the way he's conducting his movement, his activities at the House of Representatives. From the CMC standpoint, today was a good day because he had to respond to a missed opportunity. I want to call it a missed opportunity because he was invited at District 17 sometime back due to other engagement. He did not attend that occasion. And so the women movement of District 17 has been knocking the doors of the CMC for many months, asking that they wanted to see the political leader. At a certain point in time, they took upon their own, to visit the CMC headquarters. Even at that stage, they did not see Honorable Musa Hassan Belete because he was engaged with other activities, so he missed out on meeting those women. A strong group of women who in our mind seem to be an extension of Bombing, Kibon, and Bapu, women from the Western cluster, but they are divided in the suburb of District 17 from different quarters, different communities, and they've been holding together as a group with a very strong vision, a huge number. And so today, Honorable Bidete decided to pay them a visit as political leader of the Citizens Movement for Change. And it was a wonderful introduction, not very long introduction, but very strong engagement to meet those women who assembled since morning Liberian time yesterday and waited up to 5 o'clock p.m. And, making sure that Mr. Bedete come in because he had either on schedule to meet them at 6 in the evening. But with all of the time difference, the patient had waited and had a wonderful interaction with the CMC political leader. And, it tells you that the pictures you saw today, we could not even give them, the CMC t-shirts because they were already uniform and coordinated. A group of women you see here, they got their own police force, they got their own disciplinary team, and the leader, a very young and energetic lady who's been respected by older people, the younger ones, and to the extent that they form a team that help to coordinate, the activities of the group. They divided themselves into different group, different uniform in terms of making sure that their activities are not interrupted. So they form a group of females that they consider to be their police, for them. So those group of women will take care of programs, activities around them. They are not allowing intruders in their mix. They know each other very well. They know the community they come from. All of the community leaders were indeed represented today. They raised some very serious concern about empowerment They think that they've been let down. Their issues are many. They raise the issue of wants to get in power. They need skills. They are mothers without husbands. They are mothers, single mothers, because they reference some of the situation during the COVID. A lot of men passed off in District 17. That was one of the hardest hit um, district during the COVID. So those mothers who lost their husbands, or those ladies who lost, their relationship in terms of death, are in the district. Their kids are either doing drugs, and so they brought all of those concerns today to the political leader. They've been challenged by three breaches in the community that have hindered their movement. So they also brought that to the attention of the political leader of the CMC. They've been following his work. They know very well that he's making strong commitment and delivering on those commitments. And so it was their way of making use of the opportunity, um, and not just asking for financial, assistance, but they want to go to trade school. They need a facility in the district that those young women coming up will go and learn trade. They will get imparted to do a lot of different things in helping them, catering and home economics. A lot of different trade that I think that will be beneficiary to them. So the PR he listens very well, and he respond again, being the block of the CMC. You know that the foundation of the CMC is female driven. We are strong in female operation, even in our structure. There are a lot of females in our structure. So, and it was all female. You could not see men except for the men that came along with honorability. The group you see there was all females. I was also surprised that they weren't accompanied by you know for them that has male, but they allow the men to stay off their space, and I think they've done that, showing that it is a women based organization and they control their own activity. So they raise all of those very sensitive issues. PR responded positively, making some very good commitment. Again, Madam Belity is also working with females in some of the counties and in some of the districts. So, according to honorability, he's going to connect them directly with our First Lady, Madam Belity, to start working with them. They need to identify a space because the CMC is not in the business of acquiring land to build. So if they can identify a space through their organization, the Citizen Movement for Change through Madam Belity, will start to work with them to do a project to build a well furnished structure that will allow them to use that space for their women empowerment program. So others can go to that facility to learn, to get involved into things that will benefit them, so that they cannot be out there languishing, in the community. You grew up seeing your mother sell pepper. You stay with her, she get old, and you come out and start to sell pepper. And, you grew up seeing, your mother selling cold water, we call it, and then you live in the same community, stay there, and the only thing you can do is to sell water. At the end of the day, they think that is not being serviceable to them. They've been used by politicians, like they said, but they are not being looked to in terms of helping them. So they will be working along with Madam Belity through the instrumentality of honorability to
Okay.
make sure that that center is built.
Thank
Another
you.
thing that another thing that it raised was the breach issue. They got three breaches, like I said, and the PO made a commitment that between now and 2027, based on priority of the location of the three breaches, the CMC will do those three breaches, but will do them in priority. So our assessment team will work along with the head of the women. They will identify those three breaches, and then based on that, they will now start to see how they can start the work. But those three bridges should be completed between now and 2027 based on the priority. We will not do all of those bridges at once. We'll rather be looking at them in terms of the priority of the bridges. So the first one will be done based on the location and the priority of that major one. And the second one, and then the last one, they all will be completed between now and 2027. The women was very happy. It was not about giving them cash at the end of the day, but it was about showing them that yes, you've called us, we've listened, and we've come to help, in that direction. That is just a beginning. Remember, we are also planning our reach out now or our outreach. We've been doing a lot of work in Nima, Bosorado, and Bond County, including Mangibi. The CMC is expanding somewhere between the 27th, 28th to the 30th. The political leader and delegation will be in Grand Jide. We are now taking the party to the southeast. So our southeastern outing begin this month. Our team will be departing Mosorado 27. Will be up in the southeast up to the maybe the 1st or the 31st of January. From Toasttown to Zwejo and to Fishtown, River G. And we'll be to continue with the activities lined up. We got some projects in the counties in the southeast that we'll be initiating in some of the districts. So this year is a year that we will get out more than we did in 2025 because it is in this year that we expect that all of the counties in Liberia should feel the impact of the citizens' movement for change. People in Kondo Boni are excited. We've sent an assessment team to check the breach, that river that has taken away the lives of so many of the kingsmen.
Okay.
Is now to be history because the CMC have said we will connect you to the other side of the river by a genuine and concrete bridge structure. So the assessment team has been in Kwandeboni. They've been excited receiving the CMC team, and it is the way of the CMC that you will see a lot more this year. But we're beginning with the counties of Banjira and River G in the coming weeks with a lot of activities. Kevin passed away, has been in Zwejo in the last few days. The youth chair visiting and doing some groundwork. I'll be moving in next Sunday into Grand G that are waiting the rest of the team. So we are gingerly moving out of Mosorado, out of Nima, out of Bond. Our work in those counties remain focused. It's going to be a way of win. So we just thought that the CMC is not going to go out of development, but we will be very engaged in the months ahead of us because 2026, for us, we consider this year to be a make or break year because we intend to get granted into every county so that people know that there is a movement called the Citizen Movement for Change, and the political leader of that movement is Honorable Musa Hassan Biditi. So I think
Thank you.
it was a great day today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Toby. Mr. Fofana has to leave us. He has to go because he has other obligations, especially early tomorrow morning. So I'm going to let him do a brief closing for us, and we only have 5 more minutes before we close the show. So, Mr. Fofana, you leave Mr. Toby and I to close the show. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doug. And I want to say thanks to Mr. Toby and the entire team. You guys, I mean, we've been following everything you guys doing. You guys, the time, the resources, the energy, it's too much. You all doing this for the sake of the betterment of the country, and through the platform of CMC and under the leadership of Honorable Musa Hassan Bedete. And I want to start by, you know, commenting on uh, what Mr. Toby was talking about, honorability role in the House of Representative. I always feel sorry for him when I see him on the floor, and very passionate, speaking on the Liberian people behalf, even though he doesn't even believe in that house, because Mr. Bede have consistently said that, before joining the House of Representatives, he thought Liberia problem could be solved from there. But from everything he have experienced, he don't think that's the place to solve how the nation's problem. And Honorable Bridge video, you could sense that of what Mr. Bede was saying, from the threatening remarks about taking you out of committee because you disagree, and to saying that we only support things then that you put on the floor because we support you, not because of the people. You know, technically that's what that meant. So yeah, so that shows you that it's not the right place. Mr. Bede is right, but with all that, he keeps passionately talking on behalf of the people. So that just speaks to his leadership and the sincerity of his quest to serve this country. And he, moving into various countries like Mr. Toby was talking about, that's intentional leadership, knowing what you want, knowing people that matter most, knowing what to do, and knowing how to move and ask the people to identify their problem firsthand, not just living on survey, but going there, seeing it for yourself, experiencing it, embracing the people, and then giving them something that they can benefit from, not just short term but long term, like bridges, talking about building 3 bridges upcoming and things that he has done in the past. You know, that's why when I heard people saying, "Oh, Liberian people, yeah, Musa, let him bring your money, we'll eat it." What money you eating? He's not giving you cash. He's building infrastructure that can help you, you know, to save you from danger that you have been experiencing in the past. So all I can say, CMC is the way. CMC understands the Liberian people struggle, and I think our political leader and everyone on ground, including Mr. Toby and everybody on the team, I think we all sincere in this quest, and Liberian people should evaluate that and be sincere to themselves, to understanding who really want to see the betterment and sustainability of the country. So I will stop here, and just to conclude, I would like to appreciate that I received my gift today. I love it. Thank you so much. It was special because most especially there is something that was in the gift. Uh, that I really needed last year, July 26th, so I couldn't get it. But when I saw it, I was so happy. So thank you very much. Mr. Toby, thank you so much. Ansu, Henry, thank you guys so much. See you guys tomorrow. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. And good luck on your work for school tomorrow, your paper that you have to submit. So good luck.
Thank
Um, we have 2 more minutes. Mr. Toby, Mr. Fofana actually was talking about there was a proposition put out for people becoming members of the Pennsylvania Delaware chapter. Uh, we wanted to formulate, and it takes 50. Our constitution says that you have to have 50 members to be a full chapter, and I, who live in this chapter, wanted to definitely be a chapter. And so I have put a call out there that if I had 2 members who could come in and bring 2 other people with them to have to allow us to climb over the hallmark, the threshold, climb over 50, I was going to give to you. And so that's what Mr. Fofana was talking about. So 2 members did come in, took out my challenge, and they brought in 2 additional members, and so I was, just able to give them. So we've done well tonight. I wasn't sure how we were going to make good timing, but we did. So thank you for coming and adding on to the time. There's so much more to talk about. There's a lot of announcements to talk about. The PL is reported, I heard on another platform, that he's coming to the United States. And so we'll be making that announcement in the coming days. Uh, and also, I did see that he entered work today. How there was a video out there that showed, his behavior, his mannerism. He said hi to everyone. It was very pleasing to see that he was engaging his colleagues. And then I know that he began to speak about auditing the House. And I believe that Representative Mama Briggs' call for not saying yay or nay is also the beginning of auditing the House. Okay. Transparency is the key. Accountability is what our political leader, Musa Hassan Bility, has always called for. So on that note, I would say that we 1 minute past time. So if you want to close or say anything.
Yeah. So again, let me say thanks. You've been sitting in the moderator seat for 2 nights now, and I'm sure you've done extremely well to hold on to the show. Later on, our time tonight will be another time for us to be here. But let me say thanks to you for always reminding us, waking up, getting done, and so reaching out to me, setting up the agenda. 1 minute you're into another platform, but you've taken this platform to be your heart. I see the energy you put in. Even if you're running 2 minutes late, you had to check. Mr. Toby, you had to make sure you go and start. I'm running late. I like the coordination. Let me appreciate you for that. It means that the CMC will become family. Vague, Massa, and Mr. Nangbe, all of us who put in our time, is our way of giving back to our country, our society. And we do it with passion. We love it. And that is why we are up this time of the morning in making sure that these information we talked about are genuine information for the people. So I just want to say thank you. There's a lot to talk about. Our country is evolving. I would never go out of news. I'm sure tomorrow will be for another conversation. We may not repeat because every time you check your gadget, there's something to talk about that affect our country. And as these things come out, the CMC will put her perspective. The government performance report is out for NIMO.
Yes, NIMO.
The CMC is working on some document to see whether that coincides with what NIMO said on today. Our team of technocrats looking into that report, and we're going to also grade the performance of the government, whether with all of their many intervention deliverables, whether those things they said they promised to do for the Liberian people have been done, or it's just rhetoric for power. We will stand in the gap to awaken the minds of the Liberian people. But until our technical team can give us what they've gathered, we'll be very careful not to misrepresent their work. So we are taking some time to look at that report, and we'll talk about it. It's a trending conversation, but let's hold it for another day. Let me say thank you, Dad, for tonight, for this presentation. We'll be back here again, hopefully same time, and we'll continue our job. Thank you for holding on to the show tonight.
Yes, thank you. Leo Sisse, I see that you joined us also. Thank you very much, and goodbye, everybody.
CMC, for the people, by the people, and to citizens movement for change. Oh yes, a new day has come. Yes, a new day has come. Rise up, Liberia. CMC for the people. CMC by the people. Let us join our hands together to build a better life. CMC, CMC for the people. CMC by the people. Let us join our hands together to build a better life. Equity, national unity, transparency, accountability, social justice, integrity. CMC core values. CMC global. It is a new day for Liberia. It is a new day for the people. Let's all together. Let's all together. It's a unity. Raise up your hands. CMC. The land of liberty, the land of freedom, the love of liberty brought us together. Let's hold together in peace and unity to build a better Liberia. CMC, CMC for the people. CMC by the people. Let's hold together in peace and unity to build a better Liberia. CMC, CMC for the people. CMC by the people. Let's hold together in peace and unity to build a better Liberia. CMC, yes, 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 the time has come.